Welcome to the 365 Daily Messages for You podcast.
Hello, everyone.
We're on episode 17.
17.
And we're going to be talking about illusion versus truth.
Illusion versus truth, yeah.
And this is a pretty fundamental question that has captivated thinkers for centuries.
Yeah, for a long time.
So we're in good company.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to kind of try to answer the questions like,
Right.
how do our interpretations of the world become our reality?
Right.
And perhaps even more interestingly, how can we shift those interpretations to unlock a more fulfilling and vibrant life?
Absolutely.
So I think that's really what we're kind of looking at.
I think so.
And, really, it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
we navigate our days based on what we see, what we feel, what we believe.
Right.
But what if what we experience as reality is just one tiny lens through which to view something much larger, a reality brimming with possibilities that we haven't even glimpsed yet?
Possibilities that we can't even imagine.
Right. And so I think that's what we're really going to try to unpack today.
Yeah, and I think a good place to start would be just by thinking about this idea of what we might call unfiltered reality.
Okay.
So a state of being untouched by our biases, our emotions, our past baggage. Just imagine a realm of pure, unlimited potential where boundless possibilities and unending joy are the very fabric of existence.
Right.
And, this isn't some sort of far-off fantasy. This is the very essence of things.
Yeah.
Kind
of like the source.
It's the source, yeah. An infinite source of inspiration and flow.
And so the question is, if that is the case,
Right.
then why aren't we experiencing this all the time?
Yeah, that's the question.
So that's kind of what we want to figure out.
That's the puzzle we're trying to solve.
Yeah.
And I think a helpful way to think about it is through the analogy of a vessel.
Okay.
So, our minds, our deeply held beliefs about ourselves and the world, our overall worldview, these form the vessel through which we experience reality.
Okay. So it's like having this huge source of water.
Right.
But we only have a little cup to drink from.
Yeah. You've got this immense reservoir of water representing all of that unlimited potential.
Right.
But you've only got a small cup with which to drink.
Right.
And no matter how much water is available,
Yeah.
you can only draw what your cup allows.
That's a great analogy.
So our perceptions act in a similar way.
Okay.
They limit our access to the fullness of reality.
Right. And it's interesting because so much of what forms that initial vessel, those initial perceptions are formed by things that are outside of our control, like our upbringing.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're norms of society.
Yeah, all of the things that we just kind of absorb.
Yeah, we absorbed so many beliefs.
Yeah.
And we never really question them.
And we never really question them.
And what's really interesting, I think, too, is that,
Yeah.
there is this suggestion from various scientific fields that what our senses actually capture is only a tiny sliver of the total information available.
Right. It's a very, very small percentage.
Which is mind-blowing if you think about it.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
We think we know so much.
We think we're getting it all.
Right.
But we're really just getting this little
sliver.
This little sliver.
And then you think about, how we always say hindsight is 20/20?
Yeah.
You look back on difficult times, and then you gain clarity. You could see, oh, that's how that contributed to my growth.
Yeah.
But in the moment.
Yeah.
It's so hard to see the good.
Especially when things are tough.
It's like, why is this happening to me?
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in that immediate discomfort or the perceived lack.
Yeah.
But it's so important to remember that within each of us resides this core of unlimited potential, this higher level of consciousness that's capable of accessing and channeling truly immense possibilities.
Right.
Think about it like a seed. Holding the blueprint for the entire tree.
Right.
That potential is there.
Right.
It's just waiting to unfold.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure you can think of times in your life when you accomplished something that you once thought was completely out of reach.
Oh, yeah.
And that achievement, which felt so monumental at the time, often becomes just another stepping stone as you continue to grow and evolve.
It's so true.
It's like we have this inherent drive to constantly expand beyond our self-imposed limits.
Right.
So how do we consciously begin to connect with this wellspring of unlimited reality?
Right. How do we do that?
Especially when we're just starting on a path of self-discovery.
Yeah.
I think one powerful approach is to become more aware of the different kinds of desires that motivate us.
Different kinds of desires.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
So, a lot of times our desires are rooted in a need for survival and immediate relief.
Okay.
from pain, discomfort, or problems.
Yeah.
For instance, if you're facing a challenge,
Right.
your primary desire might simply be for that challenge to disappear.
Yeah, just go away.
Just make it go away.
Yeah.
And while that's understandable,
You have to wait.
if we constantly focus solely on this type of relief desire,
Yeah.
we can inadvertently limit our vision of what's truly possible.
Right.
We become fixated on just escaping the negative
Okay.
rather than moving towards something truly expansive.
Right. So it's like we're just trying to get back to 0
Yeah, exactly.
instead of going to like 100.
Yeah, it's like, you're in a boat with a leak.
Okay.
And you're just focused on patching the leak
Okay.
instead of charting a course to a new destination.
Wow. I love that analogy.
So on the other hand,
Okay.
we also have desires that are deeply connected to our unlimited potential.
Mm-hmm.
A yearning for growth, for joy, for experiences that broaden our horizons and fill us with a sense of aliveness.
Right.
These are the desires that pull us forward towards something greater than our current circumstances.
Okay, so how do we, when we're in a tough spot and we just want that relief,
Yeah.
what's a better way to approach that?
I think it's helpful to just become aware of whether simply achieving that relief will bring you lasting fulfillment.
Okay.
Because often those challenging times can actually be what we might call cosmic openings.
Cosmic openings.
Yeah, presenting unforeseen opportunities for growth and the emergence of greater possibilities than you might currently imagine.
So instead of focusing on just escaping the discomfort, we should ask ourselves what greater good might come from this.
What unexpected benefit might emerge from this situation.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a shift in perspective.
It is a shift of perspective. Instead of saying, how do I get back to 0?
Right.
It's like, what if this could take me to 100?
What if this is actually an opportunity to reach a higher level?
Right.
So imagine you're presented with a fork in the road.
Okay.
One path leads to immediate comfort and a shrinking of your focus.
Okay.
While the other, though, perhaps initially more challenging, opens you up to possibilities you can't even see yet.
Wow.
So this isn't about advocating for enduring pain, but rather cultivating a willingness to navigate temporary discomfort in service of significant growth and broader horizons.
Right. So discomfort is not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's all about how we relate to it.
Okay. So how do we practically train ourselves to adopt this more open perspective?
Yeah. So here's a simple yet incredibly effective daily practice.
Okay.
Whenever you find yourself facing frustration or a limiting belief pops into your head, or you encounter a seemingly negative situation, try consciously saying to yourself, let's see.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It seems so simple.
It is simple.
But I can see how it would be very powerful.
It's incredibly powerful because it acknowledges your current experience. Okay.
Without immediately solidifying it as the only possibility.
Right.
It introduces an element of curiosity and openness to the unknown.
Right.
It trains your brain to pause and consider that there might be more to the situation than what you initially perceived.
Yeah.
And you could even apply this when you're listening to someone else. Notice if you're quickly dismissing their ideas and then intentionally think, let's see what else might be here.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's like creating a mental breathing space.
It is.
Allowing for new information and possibilities to enter.
Yeah, it's like hitting the pause button.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's also important to remember the impact of your energy.
Right.
Every effort you invest with a genuine intention to create good.
Okay.
Whether in your interactions, your creative pursuits, or any area of your life carries inherent value.
Yeah.
Even if the immediate outcome isn't what you anticipated. Yeah. That's a comforting thought.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes you pour your heart into something. And you don't get the results that you expect.
It's so easy to feel like that effort was wasted.
It's like, what was the point of all of that?
But consider the powerful analogy of the Chinese bamboo tree.
Okay.
For years, there's no visible growth above the surface.
Okay.
But beneath the soil, an extensive and strong root system is developing. And then, in a relatively short period, the tree shoots up incredibly tall.
Wow.
So similarly, Your consistent efforts and positive intentions
Yeah.
are like planting those unseen roots.
Right.
They may not yield immediate visible results,
Right.
but they are essential
Yeah.
for long-term growth and the eventual manifestation of your potential.
Right. So don't give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cultivate patience and trust the underlying process.
That's a great analogy.
It is a powerful analogy
Yeah.
because it reminds us that sometimes the most important growth is happening beneath the surface, and we may not see it right away.
But it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Exactly.
And now a quick word from our sponsor.
Okay.
If you are enjoying these insights about the power of perception and how to tap into your unlimited potential,
Yeah.
and you'd like to have more daily inspiration to help you expand your perspective,
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking out the book, 365 Daily Messages for You.
That's a great resource.
Yeah, it's filled with thought-provoking prompts and positive affirmations that are designed to help you embrace your full potential.
I think people will really enjoy it.
Yeah, and you can find a direct link to purchase the book in the description of this deep dive.
Sounds good.
Get back to the show.
Okay.
I think we also need to touch on the power of belief.
Yeah. Belief is huge.
It is huge.
You know, there are so many studies that have shown that when someone genuinely believes in your potential, it can have a really significant positive impact on your performance and your ultimate achievements.
Right.
And I think this really highlights the interconnectedness of our energies and how belief can actually shape reality.
It's like that belief almost creates a supportive field
It does.
for that person to step into their potential.
It creates a space for them to grow
Right.
and to thrive.
Yeah.
And just as believing in someone else can uplift them,
Right.
nurturing a strong belief in your own unlimited potential is absolutely vital for expanding your perception of what's possible for you.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, even if you've experienced setbacks or faced challenges,
Yeah.
consciously cultivate
Right.
a belief in your capacity for growth, for resilience, and for positive change.
Right.
As the saying goes, it's only a waste of time if you believe it was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Your intention to create good allows your energy to contribute positively,
Right.
even when the immediate results aren't what you initially envisioned.
So powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's summarize.
Okay.
Some of the key steps we can take to consciously shift our perception and move toward realizing our full potential.
Sounds good.
So first, become aware.
Yeah, become aware of your current thoughts,
Right.
your beliefs, and your assumptions
Right.
about yourself and
Yeah.
the world around you.
Become aware of that internal dialogue.
Yeah, pay attention to that voice in your head
That's constantly chattering.
that's always talking.
Yeah, and then question those beliefs.
Yes, especially the ones that feel limiting or negative,
Right.
or that you just absorbed from your environment.
Right, without even thinking about it.
Without consciously choosing them,
Right.
ask yourself, are these beliefs truly serving me?
Yeah. Are they helping me or are they hurting me?
Right.
And then remember that your current perception,
Yeah.
no matter how real it feels,
Right.
is likely just a small fraction
It's just a tiny piece
of a much larger,
of a much larger and more vibrant reality.
filled with possibility, filled with endless possibilities. So
Yeah.
stay open, stay curious.
Right. It's really about having that humility.
Yeah. That there's always more to learn
There's always more to discover.
and experience.
Absolutely.
And distinguish between
Yeah.
the desire for immediate relief.
Right. That need to just escape the discomfort.
Yeah. Make it go away.
And the deeper yearning for greater potential, for growth and fulfillment.
Right.
And consciously choose to align your actions
Right.
with that higher aspiration.
Okay.
And when you encounter challenges,
Yeah.
actively look for and be open to the possibility of greater opportunity that might be hidden within those difficulties.
It's like the gift.
It is like a gift. Yeah. Wrapped up in a little bit of a
Uncomfortable packaging.
uncomfortable packaging.
Yeah. And don't forget to practice that phrase. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see.
It's so simple,
It is simple,
but it's so powerful.
but it's so powerful.
Use it whenever you encounter uncertainty, limiting thoughts, or frustrating situations
Yeah.
to keep your mind open.
Keep your mind open to new possibilities.
To new possibilities.
Yeah.
And trust that your energy and positive intentions
Yeah,
have intrinsic value
they do.
and contribute to your growth.
Even if the results aren't immediately apparent.
Right.
So be patient. Be persistent.
Right. And
But
cultivate that belief in
you
yourself.
gotta believe in your unlimited potential.
Right.
That is the foundation
Yeah.
that will support you in expanding your perceptions
Right.
and creating a more fulfilling reality.
So beautiful.
It is a beautiful journey.
It is a beautiful journey of self-discovery and continuous growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
So by consciously applying these steps in your daily life, you can begin to expand that vessel of perception.
Yeah.
And tap into that incredible wellspring of your inherent unlimited potential.
Absolutely.
And navigate life with greater optimism, resilience, and a profound sense of possibility.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Living a more fulfilling and joyful life.
Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into illusion versus truth.
It's been a pleasure.
On the 365 Daily Messages for You podcast.
Yeah.
If you'd like to connect with our community and get some more resources, you can follow the link in the description below.
Sounds good.
And don't forget to get your copy of 365 Daily Messages for You.
Yeah, that's a great resource.
The link is waiting for you in the description.
All right.
Thanks for listening to the 365 Daily Messages for You podcast.